What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are here to do the 100 hours update on my Chinese challenge. Now, to give a summary to those who have not seen the previous videos, here is a playlist. I will include this within the description if you want to follow from the beginning. Basically, what I did is before I started this challenge, I was somewhere around the intermediate level within Chinese. Understanding wise, I'm pretty good, but when it comes to actually speaking the language, not so good, although my pronunciation was pretty good. So I set on basically a challenge to massively improve my speaking with the stated goal of basically end of next year becoming a Chinese video game streamer. That's pretty much it, like a let's player type of thing. And my focus would be basically the game World of Warcraft. The reason being is because it's fully translated and it's text. It's very text heavy and it's very in-depth text. Like, it's not like beginner level text. Now, I've gone into it a few times over the last few weeks, played around with it a little bit, and to give you an idea of where I'm currently at in that challenge, okay, if I open up a quest within that game, I have to look up every second word. That's how like intense it is. Like, it uses a lot of like descriptive words that you're not going to encounter anywhere. So yeah, this is basically the playlist. As I stated, we're going to do the 100-hour video right now. And also, you'll notice that it's a little bit haphazard. I had a 0 update, a 15-hour, 40 update. And I'm thinking I'm actually going to do just 50-hour updates and just kind of match what I'm doing with my Dreaming Spanish series, and that way you can just kind of follow along every 50 hours. Now, what methods have I been using during this series? Well, I've been using my preferred methods, which means I have not just been using a pure comprehensible input methodology, okay? I have been mainly focusing on speaking because, well, that's what I want to become, is a Let's Player, okay? So, first up, I've been tracking my progress because there's no master website for this. As you can see, this is my spreadsheet. I'll include this down there as well. It actually also has my health journey in there if you're interested in that, and my ruminations about that, but we're just going to focus on the Chinese side. So I've got like minutes of review, minutes of sentence mining, minutes of input, unique characters, and total hours spent since the beginning of the challenge. Not since I started learning Chinese, so just make sure you've got that in your mind. I was somewhere around the intermediate level. It kind of sucks that I don't know how much time I put in historically because, well, obviously this is less beneficial for those who are interested in learning Chinese, but I guess it will give you an idea overall of like what it takes to progress, and then also comments about what I've done. Now, we are at 100 hours, practically. I'll be 100 hours by the end of tonight because I've got some more stuff to do. And if you have a look around, where is it? If we go around this point here, so at the 39 hours mark, or was it a little bit later? A little bit later, probably around the 51 hours, somewhere around this range, okay? I started to focus on gaming terminology because I already launched my Chinese YouTube channel. And what I plan to do on that channel is actually play video games in Chinese and also vlog in Chinese, okay? Now, for those who are curious, here is the channel in question. I already have 3 videos up. This video here, the last one I did was when I was around the, let me find it. I believe it's right, this one here, when I was 71 hours mark, okay? So I haven't made another video since then, but I guess I'll probably make one in the next 2 weeks or so. So first video was me just talking about, you know, my plans. Second video was me playing Left 4 Dead, the first level in Chinese. And I got a lot of feedback from Chinese speakers about things I needed to improve, specifically some of the Evildeaisms I was using. And then this one here where I played another game, but it's like a full-on horror game. This was me under intense stress while speaking Chinese, and you can see it goes for like half an hour. So this one I got less comments for because I don't know why. Maybe that's a good thing. Don't know. But like, yeah, that's basically it. And then in 2 weeks I'll drop another video. And then hopefully as I get better, I will start dropping more and more videos. So let's go back to this. Now, this is the character field. I will explain this a little bit later in the video. Let's just talk about what I've been doing over the last little bit since the 40-hour video. Now, the 40-hour video is like way back here, but I don't care about any of that. You'll see I'm practicing a lot about speaking about certain things. So if I look at the 65-hour mark, I was talking about levels, checking, placement, fleeing, being covered, watched. So you'll notice here I'm practicing talking about basically placement and location of objects in 3D space. Now, if you gave me time at this point and said, hey, Evildea, I want you to say this sentence, you know, like, I can see a zombie, I would say it, but I would have to think about it. okay? Or at least spend a tiny bit of time, you know, maybe just running that through my brain. So what I'm doing here is I'm automating all these types of things that I would say in gaming by practicing them over and over, and I'll show you how I do that in a minute as well. Then like here I was talking about chain stores, smoke, some new grammar structures, interfaces, modes, and you'll notice this is all around gaming because this is what I'm working towards, okay? You know, doors, breathing, flashing lights, and then tents and freaking stuff like that. What have we got down here? Talking about guilds, classes, factions. I also practice, you know, talking in the past about when and stuff like that. Disappearing, distinguishing, knocking, hallucinations. You'll notice it's getting more and more kind of like niche in the type of topics. It's less just general stuff. And now I'm practicing more specific things because, you know, at this point you could drop me in a game and I could talk about the placement of pretty much any object in that game, you know, what the monsters are doing. I may not know the specific names for all the objects or the monsters, but I could tell you what's going on. But at the 65-hour mark, or let's go back to about the 49-hour mark, I could not do that easily. I would struggle, okay? Now it is completely automated. I can tell you, like what I see in the game. And you'll actually see that if you review these videos. So this one here versus this one here, you'll notice in this one, I am a lot more fluent talking about those things as opposed to this one here, okay? Now, later on, I'm starting to talk about, you know, servers, clicking, interfacing, trapping, collecting, adventure, fighting against things, you know, talents and stuff like that. Very kind of niche stuff when it comes to type of gaming. And that's where I'm basically up today. So today I was talking about, you know, crushing my opponents and stuff like that. Practicing gaming slang, basically. So how have I been doing this? Well, I'm glad you've asked. Let me show you my bespoke program that I've been using to test myself. Okay, so basically I wrote a program, and I've spoken in detail about this program before on this channel, but I will give a summary of it again here, okay? So basically it allows me to practice chunking, and also it creates chunks for me based on words that I already know. Now I have to manually feed this into the program and basically give it all the type of information, but to give you an idea, okay, it builds chunks and then asks me to translate those, and then I get better and better at translating them, and each day I practice new chunks. So for example, let's go in here and we'll pick something random. Okay, so we'll just go under nouns, I guess. I was already under nouns, my bad. Okay, so I actually haven't pulled, because this is my secondary computer. This one's actually really out of date, so it doesn't matter anyway. So like, that's too simple. Let's find something more interesting. Left 4 Dead weapons, okay? So these are the weapons that exist within Left 4 Dead. Now, I didn't know any of these before I started playing the game, so I went out and learnt them before I started playing the game, because obviously I can't talk about them if I don't know how to say them. So I practiced these, and these are the measure words. This is like a specific Chinese grammar concept that comes around with it, okay? There's the word, and there is the pinyin. Now, this is just a standalone word. Then what would happen is that this would be slotted into chunks that I've created, okay? So you see all these chunks? These are all chunks, and it's randomly slotting in these words, and then it will generate these sentences based on these chunks and these words that have been slotted in to help me automate using these structures, these chunks, and all these together. To see how it worked, okay, so basically it would pop up a sentence in English. Then I would have to translate it on the fly. Now, because I'm speaking in English, this is a little bit harder, so it's like I can't open the emergency door. So here, emergency door is 紧急门, okay? And then that's one of those little pieces that I talked about. And then can't open would be, what is it, a dabukai? Sorry, I'm in English mode right now. Dabukai, okay? So then I have to slot these chunks together, and I practice, and it's not working on this computer, but this would be the Chinese that you're seeing. And then I just keep doing that. And I'll do this, I'll do 50 practice sentences as part of my review section. So as you saw here, this is the review section, okay? When I was talking about minutes of review. I'd do about 50 sentences of that, which would take me maybe 10 minutes, 10 minutes or so, okay? Because you can smash through them pretty fast when you're in the flow of things. Now, the second part is minutes of sentence mining. So this would be where I'd either be using AI or actual sentence mining from real Let's Players and generating those chunks. So I'd be watching someone who's playing the game. I'd find out interesting sentences that I want to be able to say myself, and I would study how they say it, and I'd slot it in here. Or if I can't find anyone who says the stuff I want to say, I'd resort to AI. Now, obviously, I'm at a stage where I can kind of spot any obvious mistakes from AI, but still, you know, just giving you guys a little bit of a heads up. Now, the next part was minutes of input. Now, this is basically me just watching content. This is CI, that's all. You'll notice back here I was doing none of it because, well, I was focused on speaking and my input's good enough. But here I've started, you know, doing a lot more input along with my actual practicing of the language, okay? And then finally, we have unique characters. What's going on here? Okay, so I actually added into my program about 4 days ago that out of all these chunks, it cuts them up and figures out all the characters that I know, because I have to be able to read them in Chinese also to check my my understanding, okay. Now, it says, according to the program, like 4 days ago, I know 890. Now I know next day 920, and then 953, 969. This is not actually an accurate representation of how many characters I know. I probably know over 2K. Okay, this is just a representation of how many characters are within my program that I've been adding in. Now, I'm not intentionally adding characters, I'm adding chunks, you know, actual pieces of sentences. But, you know, every now and then when I add a new chunk, a new character gets added in, so it's picking this up. Now, I actually feel in about 3 months of using this program, it will represent how many characters I know at that point. Because I am getting new characters as I'm going through this, like game-based ones, you know, ones that I just never encountered before. But also many of these, probably, like, let's say this 969, probably like 950 of those I know already, like before I even added them in here, okay? So it's not a good representation of how much I know at this point, but it is kind of fascinating watching that number go up, and it's kind of, it gives me inspiration, okay, just seeing that number grow, because I know I need to get I need to get to at least 3,500 characters to be able to read a newspaper type of thing and get 99% understandability of text on the page, which for those of you who don't know, that means there's still going to be at least a character or two per page that I won't know, even when reading a newspaper at like 3,500 characters. So that's a lot of characters, okay. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Obviously, I've been producing the videos now. Additionally, I've also been using Anki. Okay, let me just pull this in. I have not updated my Anki in a long time on this computer, so I just need to quickly update it before I show you guys. Let's just go download from Anki Web, let that do its thing. And then I guess here is that video I was talking about, and I want to show you guys just a little bit of me playing the game, okay? And it's got some subtitles here. Let me just swap over so you guys can see it. Chinese subtitles. Let me just pick a point in here. I don't know. Okay, I gotta be careful because there's some moments in this I scream like a little bitch, and I don't want you guys to be terrified. So this is just me playing.
我不是个好孩子吗？哎呀，现在我觉得我需要出去看看。我不喜欢那个呼吸声。你在哪？
Okay, now, I do want to warn you guys, I'm still not speaking like perfect Chinese. I do make mistakes, obviously, here and there. People do pick them out in the comments and let me know, okay? But also, additionally, this is just kind of like a record for me, as well as kind of giving me inspiration towards my final goal of actually becoming a Let's Player. Now, if we go over to the Anki side of things, okay, so what have I got? So I've got Chinese reading, Chinese proverbs, and Chinese foreign transcribed characters. Now let me explain these decks. I don't add many to these decks every day. Okay, so Chinese reading, if I just go into this is actually on the front just generated by my program here. So I literally just generate cards from that, and I generate, I generate 30 a day, and I add them in here. And this is just the practice reading for those things that I can already speak, because obviously Chinese written language, spoken language, there's basically no relationship, so you need to learn both separately. Chinese proverbs, okay, this is me practicing listening to, so these are audio cards, okay, of specific proverbs, and there's not many in here yet. I only just created this deck like literally the other day, and here I just listen, and then basically I understand the proverb, or I practice like hearing it, because when these proverbs pop up randomly in just like a vlog or something, or just in a gaming video and someone says them, you're like, you have no idea what it is, okay? And you can't really pass it in the moment. So I need to actually practice listening to those. So that's where I'm practicing there. And then foreign transcribed characters. These are certain characters. I only just created this deck literally the other day as well, which are used for transcribing things. So these characters, although they are used in the language, okay, their primary goal is for, well, you see it a lot, is primarily for transcribing foreign words. So I just want to practice being able to read these by themselves bespoke as opposed to as part of a bigger word, because obviously when I play a game like World of Warcraft, these are everywhere. There's friggin' foreign transcribed names absolutely everywhere, and I just want to be able to get really good at reading these. Now, most of these I could already read before I made this deck, but I'm just slowly building this out. So, like, I could read that one, and that one, but that one I didn't know, and that one I knew, but like it was just a little bit blurry in my mind type of thing. But this will grow out. By the next video update, these two decks are probably going to be quite massive, okay? The Proverbs one and the foreign transcribed characters. So, the way I'm attacking this, the overall thing is, okay, one, I'm practicing a specific topic, gaming videos. At this point, horror gaming videos / World of Warcraft, because that's my end goal. Okay. 2, I am doing now more and more CI, that is me watching people playing these video games, okay, and just listening to them. 3, I am doing focused study on doing reading as well, because obviously interfaces in Chinese need to be able to read them, okay, but the reading is actually being generated by my program, which is based on my speaking. And then I'm also going to start practicing Proverbs because, well, I want to become a master of the fucking Proverbs, because that generally is actually the difference between a good Chinese speaker, you know, learner of Chinese, and just someone who speaks Chinese. I've seen comments before, you know, for like really good Chinese speakers on YouTube where they're like, you basically almost sound like a native except you're not using Proverbs. That's how I can tell you're non-native. So I want to get good at the goddamn Proverbs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video update. If you want to sub to this channel, I'll put a link down there. I'll also put a link to my actual grind doc so you can check it out. And I'll see you guys at another 50 hours for the Chinese update. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Or Elmo. Elmo will lick your ear in the middle of the night, and trust me, he's got a long tongue.